Good afternoon and welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Ghana ranks 10th in Africa with the lowest petrol price and 40th globally in April 2024, according to the latest global petrol prices report. We shall have a discussion on the back of this. Also in this bulletin, business community intensifies pressure on the Electricity Company of Ghana to release a timetable in order to plan accordingly. We are live with the Ghana Union of Traders Association, who are the latest to add its voice to the demand of a timetable. Plus, interest rates continued to fall on the yield curve as government fails to meet its T-bills target. We have details of these and many others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka and want to begin business from the downstream petroleum sector because Ghana stands out as the 10th country with the lowest gasoline prices in Africa and 40th globally for April 2024. That's according to the globalpetrolprice.com. Now, Ghana's average gasoline price per litre was $1.05, placing it among the more affordable countries on the continent. Now, Libya and Egypt lead with the lowest fuel prices, selling gasoline at $0.03 and 0.28% respectively. Here's more in this report.
Affordable gasoline prices play a crucial role in developing nations, particularly in Ghana, where transportation costs can significantly affect the overall economy. When fuel prices are low, transportation becomes more accessible, reducing the cost of goods and services. This has a ripple effect on improving access to employment, healthcare, and education for low-income communities. According to the latest globalpetrolprices.com, Ghana grabbed the 10th spot in Africa for cheapest fuel price and 40th globally. In Africa, Libya and Egypt also recorded the least prices, taking the first and second spots at a price of $0.03 and $0.28 respectively. The data also showed Nigeria and Sudan taking the 5th and 6th position, with petrol selling at $0.54 and $0.70. The average price of gasoline around the world currently stands at $1.34 per litre. Ghana, like many other countries, imposes numerous taxes and levies on fuel to generate revenue for public projects and infrastructure. This has led to high costs at the pump for consumers.
And I want us to interrogate this revelation a bit further. Joining me via Zoom to do that is energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, who is also the chief executive of Eureka Energy. Thanks so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us on the marketplace, and good to see you. All right, so first off...
Thank you, Pine, and good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers.
Great. So first off, I just want to know your own readings to these developments by Petrol.com, saying that, well, Ghana is the 10th in Africa and 40th globally when it comes to, the price of petrol.
Yeah, so, of course, if you look at what is displayed out there, on the surface, you will say, of course, Ghana is not doing bad. Being the 10th among over 50 plus countries, that is enviable, and we could only do better. However, if you just look at where we came from, you have to, we are comparing this with other African countries. But if you look at where we came from, I think we could have it better, and we wish that it is better. And if we look at generally, fuel prices in Africa has been expensive because of the way we run our economy. Number one, we are heavily dependent, Pius, on import. Our import bills have become very highly dependent. We are highly dependent on importation, and that has catapulted into these high fuel prices that we have in Africa. Now, I will draw your attention to the list. If you look at among the other countries, we have some countries we call the MENA. MENA, MENA, that is Middle East and North African countries. If you observe them, apart from Morocco, most of the MENA countries, they are relatively very cheap, fuel prices. And I'm not surprised if you look at the one topping the list, these countries are within that. And if you look at the global space, the Gulf or the Middle East countries, they have the lowest fuel and the lowest fuel price. And the reason being that, they have one competitive advantage. If you have oil or if you don't have oil, or let's say if you have oil, you can churn out oil, you can produce oil, and you equally have a refining capacity. And then that helps a lot, Pius. If you just come back to Ghana, if you look at Ghana, the quantity of petroleum product that we import, it's almost like 20% of our entire import bill. We are talking about 350 to 400 million US dollars. So if you look at the currency weaknesses that we have in Ghana, a lot of it is actually induced. When I say induced, it's just because of the pressure that we put onto the local currency as a result of the heavy dependence on the greenback. So yes, we can do better. If you compare among other African countries, yes, we have done that well. We can pat ourselves in the back, but of course, we can do better, and we hope that policies and programs will put in place, to ensure that fuel prices are become far more affordable than what we see now.
And Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, I don't know how negligible it is for us to, come to the conclusion that, well, the geopolitical tensions happening on the local international front may have, contributed one way or the other to the level or the quantum of price we are witnessing when it comes to the cost of fuel in the sub-region, basically.
Yeah, definitely, Pius, you can't rule that out, except to say that if you look at the current happenings, I would say that the premium is almost nullified, especially after Israel and then between Israel and Iran. That had so much potential to escalate fuel prices. We saw that cool heads actually prevailed. Because the players that were involved, they both talked to each other, and they saw that there wouldn't have been a winner. And the reason why that particular one was a wild card is the fact that I mentioned what we call the Strait of Hormuz. That controls over 20% of the entire, we are talking about 20 million of petroleum product, in this case, crude oil transport through that. And it's been blocked before. And so the fact that that particular choke point is still an area that petroleum prices or fuel can transport to or via, it's indicating that, represent why we have the premium within the Middle East. The premium within the Middle East crisis is not coming to bear that much. For now, Pius, what is purely accountable for relatively high prices that we pay is just our currency weaknesses, and the root cause is what I just mentioned. All right. If we can work towards, especially within African countries, to minimize our dependency on the greenback, just a little bit, I think it will be a serious pressure relief onto our currency, and that will cascade onto what the consumer pays. All right. At the pump.
Great. So fairly, we can say that indeed the cost of fuel, within the continent is really expensive. Now, here in Ghana, we know the price stabilization recovery levy is in place to cushion consumers so that really they wouldn't feel the impact of these. But what more can we do? Looking at the taxes on the build-up and what have you, what more can we do to ensure that consumers really benefit from the developments happening?
Yeah, so what more we can do, I think we have to look at the long-term measures, Pius, and they are all linked. This factor that I mentioned, they are intricately linked. If you're able to have control over one side, you can be sure that all the other side will come to fall in place. We have some key structures of institutions or energy institutions in Ghana. If we could galvanize them, Pius, galvanize them like what is happening within the Middle East that I just talked about. Why they have relatively low fuel prices is just because they have a huge stock of the greenback and they don't depend so much on the greenback, and then their import bill is not that much. So what we can do, Africa and Ghana, we have to drastically improve our refining capacity locally. That's number one. Number two, and then we have the ability to do that. Fortunately, Dangote is coming online on stream, and I will just say that people should watch out for Nigeria. If Dangote stay on course, you will see the rippling effect within the African continent. Number two, we need to look at storage capacity. It's quite expensive, but that is what to go. That is way to go. That has also been one of the energy security bottlenecks. If you are in a country and you don't have a relatively high storage capacity, it is expensive, but it's very important. Why US is Why US is having this big advantage in terms of fuel prices, though fuel price could be going up, is because of storage. US has huge storage. Storage has been energy security measure that countries do adapt. I know it's very expensive. Fortunately, Ghana, we have the structures. BOS is there. That is an excellent starting point. We have to be able to retool that and make sure that all the the depots work and work well, and we can intricately link them up within these depots with a robust pipeline. If you do that with storage capacity with high refining ability, that would be a huge pressure relief on the currency. And then finally, you will have to be able to, you just mentioned price stabilization levy. Most countries like those that I mentioned, they are able to link up the downstream and then the upstream. We have operated it segregated, and that has impacted us. When fuel prices are going up, we could have windfalls. I always call for the fact that we have to have a workable formula where we are able to channel the windfall from the upstream side when when petroleum crude oil prices are going up to the downstream. That we have to do. That is something that we cannot do without. If you do that, I believe cumulatively with these steps, if you put these steps together, we could have a long-term measure in facilitating fuel prices. And bear in mind, that will also affect the currency, and it will affect positively, and that will impact the entire economic paradigm that will operate, Pius.
Thanks so much, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, for your insights this afternoon, speaking to us on the marketplace. We are indeed grateful, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. Now, the business community has intensified pressure on the Electricity Company of Ghana to release a timetable to help them plan accordingly. Latest to add their voice to the call is the Ghana Union of Traders Association, known as GUTA. Now, it comes on the back of a similar threat by the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry over the same concern. Now, they contend the power outages have compelled them to resort to other alternative sources of power, like generator sets, which have affected their production costs, amongst others. Joining us via Zoom as well to speak on this matter is the Secretary of GUTA, Richard Amamu. And Richard, thanks so much for joining me on the marketplace. As and when we do have Richard, we shall bring him on to speak to us on some of the issues they are raised in relation to the intermittent power outages being witnessed in the country. And again, we know the Ghana Union of Traders Association has joined calls for the Ghana Electricity Company of Ghana to release a timetable to aid them plan accordingly following that intermittent power outages. We shall connect to Richard Amamu, General Secretary of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. As and when he joins us, we shall bring him on to speak to us on that. Let's look at some other stories we've lined up for you. The local beverage industry in Ghana is facing challenges of a depreciating currency, high utility tariffs, and unstable power supply, which is threatening the operations. According to the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association, Samuel Agri, the situation is exacerbated by the recent increases in fuel prices. Now, speaking to Joy Business at this year's Ghana Beverage Awards in Accra, Samuel Agri called for a consistent government support to rescue local beverage manufacturers from imminent collapse. Here's a report.
This year's Beverage Awards was under the theme, Inspiring Excellence in Ghana's Beverage Industry. About 21 beverage brands were recognized in the night. After a careful selection by a panel of judges, the sector has been hit hard with recent past challenges and increase in utilities across the country. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Samuel Agri, warned that the current unfriendly business environment could force most of the businesses out of the country.
It's a gateway to Africa. We expected that most of the policies will be friendly. Our currency will be stable. The economic policies will also help the local industries for them to, as it were, grow their industries and then not to rather collapse the businesses that they do. So this is a call to government. We are doing our best and we want the policies to be right. Taxation should be lower for local industries for them to be able to, as it were, thrive and expand their businesses. But as we see now, with the taxation system that we have, the power system that we have, and also the competition that is not helping our local industries, most of them are considering relocating to other West African countries or beyond. But we have a good, stable environment that we can really bring in these people. So if the environment is calling them to come in, then the policies must also be right for them to be able to stay here, expand their businesses, and give employment to our people or citizens in this country.
Chief Director at the Global Media Alliance, Emma Wenani, used the occasion to invite small-scale businesses in the beverage industry to take advantage of the award ceremony to increase their visibility and brand image.
I would like to see a lot more small and medium startups coming up. The guest of honor today encouraged a lot of patronizing of local beverages, and that's something that GBA has been championing year on year. And we want to see a lot of the upcoming brands coming up into GBA. It's an opportunity for them to create awareness for their products. It's an opportunity for them to learn from other companies that have gone before them. It's an opportunity for them to know about the best case practices to create visibility. So I'd really like to see a lot of the small scale companies coming on board. A lot of them over the years, when we've approached them, they always feel that GBA is for top international companies, and I'd like to change that and say that it's not. That's a wrong perception. We want to see all the companies being represented at GBA.
The award scheme serves as a dynamic platform for industry players and stakeholders.
Now to one of our headline stories, interest rates continued to fall on the yield curve since January 1, 2024. That's according to the Treasury bills auction results by the Bank of Ghana. But the government once again failed to meet its target as liquidity continued to tighten. More in this report.
Indeed, liquidity on the money market appears to be tightening following uncertainties regarding the government's debt restructuring with Euro bond holders. The yield on the 91-day bill tumbled by 10 basis points to 25.54%. That of the 182-day bill also dropped to 27.64% from the previous week's 28.14%. The 364-day bill again eased by 59 basis points to 28.24%. Meanwhile, the government failed to meet its T-bills target by 10.58%. It got 3.11 billion cedis as against a target of 3.478 billion cedis. The 91-day bill was, however, the most patronized financial instrument. 1.983 billion cedis, representing 63.76% were tendered, and all were accepted. This was followed by the 182-day bill, in which 878.6 million cedis was tendered, and the uptake was the same.
Let's go back to our earlier story where the business community has intensified pressure on the ECG to release a timetable to help them plan accordingly. Joining us via phone to do that is Secretary of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Richard Amamu, for some great discussions on this. Thanks so much, Richard, for your time here on Business Live. First off, I want you to give me a sense of how impactful the imminent power outages have had on your operations.
Thank you very much. Let me say good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, the impact is so great, so unbearable, to the extent that we are incurring some loss because our operational cost is increasing daily because if you have to use your generator to run the business a day, we are incurring almost 400 a day, which is quite good. Now, our week, which is whether when you allow to come to work or that is work, you have which is not to out. So very, very sharp are also spending. And those the trouble goals are also very equal. So we think that to have our national plan, when we have 10 people and they do so, it's very hard without being able to run out.
And Richard, we keep losing you, so please position yourself so we have a great discussion on this. Now, the last time I spoke...
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can now. I can. So the last time I spoke to the Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the same matter, they mentioned that well, they have to resort to other alternative sources of power like generator sets, which is quite expensive to keep them running. Now, the situation, can I say, is different from yours?
It's the same, because you have no option than to get an alternative source of power. You see, but what the difficulty aspect is, if we know that the crisis will last for maybe 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, you will know whether to go for any high-cost plant. As we speak, we don't know the time limit, and it is very difficult to say that you are going to take out money from your hard-earned capital to go and buy a plant. It is very, very difficult to take that decision. That is why we are saying, we are demanding that the government should timeline as to measures put in place, and then the time that they envisage that this thing will be a thing of the past, so that if I'm going to invest in a plant or some optional thing, I will be able to take that very good decision. But as we speak, it is very difficult to take that decision.
Well, the good news is that this afternoon we heard the Vice President promise that, well, he's spoken to the Energy Minister and very soon they will rectify that challenge, really. But does that come to you as an assurance, or is that assuring enough to your members that, well, there's no need for a timetable now? Now that the Vice President has spoken, it appears the situation will be fixed.
Please come again. Sorry,
I'm saying that the Vice President is on record to have said that is liaised or is spoken to the Energy Minister to bring an amicable solution to all these issues within the power sector. And I'm saying that your call for a timetable appears to, die now, because the Vice President has given indications that the issue will be resolved.
Yes, of course. It's a welcome news to hear that something of that sort. But we need concrete measures. You see, the talking is becoming too much for us. We think that if we have a plan, we have a timetable, and then as we have the timetable, any measures that will also come to make sure that the crisis is kept, then we will move forward. But as we speak, without a timetable, and then the talking is coming here and there, it's becoming too much for us, because it is now very to plan your operational activity.
What becomes your next line of action if ECG doesn't give the timetable as you are requesting?
For now, we are looking at, trying to have calling for this timetable. When maybe it comes to a point where we are not getting the timetable, at least we have our last resort when we get the report.
And what's that last resort?
Sorry?
And what is that last resort you are talking about?
Oh, a democratic means to press home our demands. We'll use that.
You demonstrate? Richard, I'm asking whether you will be demonstrating.
Sorry?
I'm asking whether you'll be demonstrating.
Oh, for now I cannot say, but let's, we are leaders of trade associations. When we get there, when the pressures are, the demand is coming from our people that we should go on that thing. Why not? Because it's one of the practical. Richard
Amamu is the secretary of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, who is speaking to us there on the back of their call to the Electricity Company of Ghana to release a timetable for them. Now, let's shift focus to some other stories. Telecommunications brand Tesel has officially been launched in the Ashanti region as part of a rebranding process to provide innovative telecom solutions to connect and empower customers and communities across the country. Now, the telecom network, formerly Vodafone, is promising a new revolution of business and SMEs through other subsidiaries of the company. CEO of the Tesel Ghana, Patricia Obunai, says the network will champion digital solutions across the country to support economic growth. More in the following reports.
With a focus on innovation and customer satisfaction, Tesel Ghana is committed to empowering individuals, businesses and communities with seamless and reliable connectivity to thrive in the digital world. Within a year, the company has fully rebranded from Vodafone Ghana to Tesel Ghana with innovative telecommunication solutions to connect and empower customers and communities across the country. CEO of Tesel Ghana, Patricia Obunai, said the launch in Kumasi is to strengthen its presence in the region while supporting SMEs.
We've always had different investors. In the past, we had One Touch, and then we moved to Vodafone, and now Vodafone is done with their work in Ghana, and so we have a new partner, a new shareholder called Tesel. So in the month of March, we unveiled the Tesel brand in Accra for the entire country, but we believe that Kumasi is also central and core to the way we do business, and we have strong partnership with the Sentiment. And so today we are here to unveil the Tesel brand to our community, to our friends, to our partners, and to encourage all of you to be part of this new revolution.
The CEO highlighted the support the telecommunication network intends to provide for communities.
Today we are here carrying out our foundation efforts. We are putting in health, education for people. There are a lot of activities that will happen on this network. You have to be part of it to experience it.
Mayor of Kumasi, Samuel Pine, hinted at the government's support for the growth of Tesel Ghana.
And that's it for the marketplace for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks so much for your company. See you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.